everyone, good to see you all. Today's video is just going to be an informative and more measured playthrough of a 72k deep dive with Pollux in Arc 1, since some people did ask for a bit more detail on how I think through my plays and how I've gotten used to the character. But before cutting straight into that, I just wanted to mention that my next video, my next major guide video that is going to be a full Covenant guide covering early, mid-game, and late-game options, substats, and when you want to push for particular qualities of substats at certain points of the game. But it has been delayed a little just by these new Covenants and their increased stats. I think these new Covenants have some really interesting, fantastic applications on paper, such as this for Kara Ultra Hyper offense, this for Hola, max death res stacking, or for, say, perhaps Castor with Iquor, and this just for pure damage if you can fulfill the condition. So I'll just be holding fire on it for a little while longer, mostly because we don't exactly know how it'll be unlocked, just that it'll be for clearing some amount of Arc 2, probably chapters 2, 3, and 4, but it's hard to guess. And secondly, because I really don't like to make a blind prediction. Even if I have played the game for quite a long time and can form impressions of stuff, everyone's been incorrect at times before. But once the patch comes out, I will gladly go through testing things and then get that video out to you all. Okay, thanks, I'll cut to the video now. Hi everyone. I had to do the 72k for reasons. Well, specifically, I actually coached someone last night. And I said, I won't push for scores today, but unfortunately, because the deep dive is quite easy, people push for scores on my behalf. Now, this is midway through the first fight, so apologies for that, but I just thought, I did see a few comments asking for a more detailed commentary, basically, of how to do Pollux with deep dive. So now that I'm a bit more familiar with them, now, I'm not sure how and when I'll upload this, but I did think it's a Halloween night. I literally am sitting with the lights off and just some little candles on, like you'd get in a Roman Catholic church, for example. And yeah, I just thought it'd be a bit of a relaxing way to spend things. So I did actually slightly lose track of where I was. I ideally want to not kill them. Well, I want to not overextend while killing them, I should say. So if I can just do this. I could also try and tank. But yes, basically in terms of my decision making, we're on, as is generally the case, we're on a rotation, basically. So, okay, Cleansing Judgment is here, that's good. That just means I should be able to kill them. As long as... I would like to go into Carol, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. Because, yeah, there is quite a bit of damage coming in. Which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's fine. It is a little hard for me to play as well while I'm yapping, frankly. I am known to be a serial yapper, of course. So, basically, I'm just preparing for the next fight. This should... Oh, you know, looking at that, that's not going to kill, is it? Now I think about it. I think I might have trolled a little bit. Just gonna have to do that. Okay, yeah, not quite, but it's okay. I can just use Pollux's Strike. Yeah, I did overextend a little bit there. I was trying to save the overexalt, but I was like, in the first fight, you have very poor base damage. So you do have to play a little more carefully than usual. Small Wish with Shield is tempting. Advanced Echo, that's good. Give me something... I'm fine with Sacred Blood, right? Yeah, Sacred Blood should be totally fine. And quite good, quite strong, I might add. Oh, I like Serpent Husk overall. So we'll sell Dirge. You're always selling Dirge. Modern Axle is tempting. It's not as good as the Defend Relic for Pollux, but it's still very nice. We'll go straight to the Elite because the Elite is quite easy. Advanced Insight for Shock. I love Advanced Insight. I don't love Shock. Money can be a bit of a problem on this map though, if you get too greedy. That's what I'm a little concerned about. You do have to be a bit careful with the money, and I don't run Frenzy, so I don't have the max cheap. I mean, that's too good overall, despite the bad curse. Okay. I like on defense is good. On decomp is... I might have to sell decomp, so let me keep that. I will actually... Yeah, I will put it on Soul Searing Light. I think I can afford that. I just have to be more, a little more careful with the relics I choose. Okay, so now we go to the Elite because the Elite is not too difficult, and I have an Overexalt prepared in advance. Especially because this is one of the rare Elites where you can use Petrify twice in a fight. Very rare situation, truthfully. Now the only issue is I would really like to have Carol Sam, but I'm not looking at it. It doesn't seem like I'm going to get it anytime soon. So okay, I can do I want to let's go with Caress here. I will use the strike though. That will be a good triplicate. Then you want to Caress up to re-prepare. And then, as is usual practice, use... Well, I can't use 2 Sacred Heart because I'm bad. But that's still fine. The Defend is nice, although I can't hold on to it because of the lack of joy, which I'm not too enthralled about. I probably will go ahead and use the Echo now. Oh yeah, it's Advanced Echo. Well, that's fantastic. I'll use Eternity's Eye. And use this because to get back to OE, and again, ordinarily I'd like to hold on to that card, but I cannot. Ideally, we'll draw Carol this turn. Still no Carol is a little unfortunate. I possibly should have used the Posse to draw it, honestly. Because Carol is the correct default stance. Okay, I made a mistake there. This draws before the Sacred Heart's added to my hand is the problem with what I did. I suppose I might as well OE for the damage at this point. Yeah, I do have to be a little wary of the hand management with the Chrono Pendulum. On the bright side, you can pretty much use it too. I meant to click Cleansing Judgment. I meant to click Cleansing Judgment. Well, this is fine. It's fine actually. It's not that terrible. But it's certainly not what I intended to click, I must admit. Okay, that's good. Use these 2 sacreds, then the Sea Festival. I do not want to... Yeah, I do not want to put them under the threshold, actually. Yeah, I will just go ahead and do that. 2 Waxall is annoying, but I can deal with it fine. I can probably get rid of most of them before the end of the fight. Okay, very good. Now I can finally do this. Let's see. Okay, so our deck is... this is unfortunate. We are going to wish to... I'm not impressed with this hand at all, honestly. So we do have Atonement. So I can, let me think. Okay, so if I, apologies for the differing. Okay, right. If I, what are you on? 45? Oh my god, of course you're 46. Okay, that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll double feed ties, which is not an ideal play. But the reason we double feed that is to be able to get the soul searing lights basically. And then we can just use, we can actually just use Pollux's own passives to get to the end basically. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to reset the deck by using Festival of Tides, because once you reset the deck, Soul Searing can draw a wider variety of cards, right? Basically, I'll use one of these now. So I will use a 0-cost Sacred, and then this is doubled. Then that gives me... It failed to draw anything, which is a little... Ordinarily, once your deck count gets to 0, that means it's reset. Is it because I cannot draw anymore? Or is it just... No, I suppose with Pollux... This is specific to Pollux, actually, I must say. So it seems with Pollux specifically, you have to actually force reset the deck. So for example, with Forest's Exalt, if you have 0 displayed, it will automatically reshuffle the deck when using Forest's Seek passive, right? So I have to admit that caught me off guard a bit, is the shorthand. Okay, I'll use a Sacred, Soul Seer. Then we can just draw again. This is good. Ow, I hurt my fingers. Then we can... Sorry, I was just uncomfortably lying on them, basically, like a fool. So we can simply use this on cleansing. I'll probably save the rest. Yeah, probably save it. Use this for space. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Use the sticky wax because I want rid of it, and then I can end turn. So then I have the option to petrify, get them again, or just tank. I will probably just tank, looking at the state of my hand. Since I can... Yeah, I'll probably just tank the turn 1. So I do need... this is a bit unfortunate. Okay, we'll use Snarl. Then we can... See, I kind of need Ties' ult, so I'll see Festival, see what I draw. And that's fine, she was literally on 99, so it's okay. Elegy. We'll direct feed. Then we can Ritual. This should put Pollux up to OE, and then we're perfectly set up, basically, for tanking a hit freely. This is a bit overkill for tanking, actually, but it's always best to, you know you can tank it first. The Exalt might block one of my Sin Hearts, not sure, because of the Chrono Pendulum. I do feel like I'm yapping a lot, but again, this is, suppose you'd say a tutelary, an attempt at a tutelary version of events, version of playing through Pollux gods. I have eaten a bit too much chocolate and a bit too much red meat, and not quite enough to make my brain actually work on this night. Okay, so we can Sacred, tank. Okay, now we don't particularly need to worry, we're already safe. So I might as well Sacred into Strike. They are quite beefy, of course. They shuffle more sticky wax. I don't really care, honestly. And then we can pass. This might take a little while because I did break them apart quite high, quite a high amount of Aliemus, but it's not really threatening the situation we're in. This is kind of funny that this is quite funny. I might be doing the same dratted play again. I will use an insight. That's worthless. Let's insight again. Okay, cleansing is good, but without any way to duplicate it, it's not so good. Okay, let's just use this for tempo mostly. Okay, now we can use that. Decomp. This. Festival. Okay, then I will... Actually, I think we have enough. We have sufficient damage without direct feeding, I believe. Yeah, this seems to be the case. So if I just Sacred Cleansing, that should kill, or close to. Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. And 10. It does scale, but they do scale, but very, very slowly, it must be said. Let's actually go ahead and just Eternity Eye, just to have more time to fill out everyone's exalts. And get rid of the sticky waxes, that's always nice. We have a whole lot of nothing, amusingly. Let's try to... Okay, well, Caress is nice. I'll save a Hola's Exalt for when it's actually required, truthfully. So we can Ancient. Just use Pollux cards that are doubled, frankly. Ancient again. Let's make sure that they're about ready for a love tap, ideally. That's pretty much perfect. I'll just, strike, defend, snarl, and 10. A bit of a dreadfully boring way to play, but if it works, it works. And, oh, I forgot to actually use this, but that's okay. Yeah, at this point we can just go Little Wish, tab, mostly to get Keyflare. Okay, I was kind of hoping to draw a non-Pollux card, but it's not a problem. And now we cannot lose at all in the next fight. 7 turns on that encounter is pretty funny, though, I'm not gonna lie. I literally played slower than on the real deal. I don't really like any of these, I have to say. Because with Memphis, this character, yeah, 94% crit rate. I actually thought they had 100%, but with Hola's Exalt, they have over 100%. So it's basically worthless. But the other two might actually be worse than useless, because symptoms are not for... Symptoms are they're more problematic for Pollux than average. I don't like having symptoms, unless the trade-off is very good. Broken Visage, I also don't like, because Pollux doesn't have any Aliemus problems. So I guess I'm just taking Memphis, even though it's completely, like, comically worthless. Definitely not ideal, but it's fine. Okay, this fight can be somewhat challenging, but with our, ew, I don't particularly like the hand. Let's use Sinless Verdict first. I will use the Sacred Blood, predictably. Coition, Coition. Then we can simply Aegisalt. I will probably then choose to... I'm going to use it on Pollux's Strike, honestly. Since it is at least a decent damage play, I would say. I probably will use Path. Okay, not hitting any Sacred Hearts. Slightly unfortunate, but it's not a problem. We can Sacred, Insight. Actually gonna use another Insight here. Mostly because... Oh, I see, the decomp. I'll save the decomp for next turn. I've slightly messed up there, actually. I can then... I'll just Sacred into Strike. Okay, and then... I am fine with this. I haven't done much damage, but it's set up fine. Or I can just tank if I can draw the defend, which should be fine overall. Let's go ahead and use this. The hand space is a little frustrating, but use Little Wish. What? Apologies. So I can... Where was I? I see. I can use Embryo on Aegis, and then the Overexalt. So ideally, I would draw... ideally, I would be drawing Defend, if I'm honest. I will actually... Yeah, let me use Resplendent here. And then... One moment. Okay, all good. Right, so... the thing is, I would like to hit the Soul Searing. Okay, I think ultimately we have to Strike first. Which doesn't... I'm not too pleased about it. But then we can Festival again. Still no Defend in sight, which is a little wearisome. Okay, I think... let me look at... I'll need to use this for Vulnerable, for Weaken anyway. So... I will Sacred into Soulseer. And fail to draw Pollux's Defend, which is kind of unlucky. Oh, to be... Well, with Cleansing... I see. With Cleansing, we should be fine. Well, actually, I don't know if we can fund the cleansings is the problem. Okay, let's... Yeah, I was really hoping to draw into the Defend and triplicate it just to tank, but that is not possible, unfortunately. So, a backup play should be... I suppose just go for damage, honestly. If I do Cleansing, though, I can't use all 3 of them. I can only use 2. Which is kind of useless, so I suppose... I'm still gonna go for it. Oh yeah, of course, the Chrono Pendulum. Wait, which works differently with Ty's ult. I'm not complaining, but that is weird. That is really weird. Okay, cool. That means we can probably kill just fine then, in that case. Because we can go this, dupe Cleansing, tab. Then we can... Oh, none of these are on 2 out of 3. This, this, this. Then we use... Okay. Go for a Draw Posse. Fail to get a Draw Posse. And and admit defeat. Just kidding. We can use a feat. Let's use Ephemeral Eternity on Pollux. And Despair. Just kidding. I mean, we take some damage, but we'll just, you know, reflect it later. Anything else I want to do? There's not much else to do but use these defense. They're gonna die to the bleed anyway. Unfortunately, a wasted embryo. I mean, worse, much worse things have happened in our time. I'm just kind of trying to teach the optimal playstyle of Pollux, as painful as that might be at times. We'll just abandon because those Orisons are not that incredible. Okay, we can wade through. This relic is strong. I believe it's worth. I don't like blind obedience, but it's worth taking a curse. Since this basically, now granted, we often don't hit 0 Aliemus unless we have Arith, but whenever we do, not a problem. I actually do like Hauler's Rouse, mostly just for giving exaltation to Hauler. Modern Axle is a little cloggy, but could be good. I'm just gonna go straight to the encounter again. I'm feeling fairly relaxed about this encounter, even though this is the hardest encounter on the map, mostly because the Hellhound actually has a fairly significant amount of damage output. Yeah, 1711 is pretty good. But I can just petrify them once again. It's really nice to have that relic. To have, Advanced Echo on that card, I meant to say. Especially for the mob fights, but it's strong in general as well. Okay, hopefully we can... Oh, I should actually... Smallish misplay. I could have used the... I could have triplicated Cleansing Judgment before then, which is debatably a better play. Festival, of course. Then we Annihilate, Sacred, Cleanse. There's insights in the deck, so... You did not use a card this turn, right? Yeah, but once again, this would give her 26, which is not going to cut it. But if I use that, I can get her over Exalt, and then mostly use that as a conduit to consume the insights, which is always nice. If I Sacred... I'm just gonna Soulseer, I think. Yeah, I'll just Soulseer. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm not particularly... Yep, that's totally fine. Sorry, I was just checking my work, so to speak. Okay, that's good. This gives too much Aliemus, but... Oh, I can use this for tanking, which is quite sweaty, but is indisputably strong, so I will be doing it. I can use Sinless Verdict. We do need to use these, clear some space, use the Obedience as well. Now we won't have any issues. Defend. And once again, we're just doing a typical defensive play. So we can Matram. Use Small Wish again. Let's look at our sacred counts. They're all on 1, right? Okay, this is on 2. So this. Sea Festival. And then we can Sacred. Defend. Sacred. This is a play. If you're trying to copy Whale Pollux, which admittedly, this is very whaley because only, I will admit that with like a level 60 or even 70 Pollux, you have noticeably less stats because the scaling of the defense, of the massive defense, is based purely on their base defense stat, which is pretty unusual, frankly, in the game for something to behave like that. But nonetheless, it is the case. It is what exists. We'll pass again. This is basically just me farming HP, so I can take an extra death res in the final fight because there's no, you know, there's no penalty for doing so. And if you're on 72k, it's best not to hard speedrun, right? Or you might get in a bit of trouble in the process, you know? So, okay, Path of Ablution is good. I didn't realize it was on the bottom of my deck, to be honest. Then we can do this. I will Scion. Oops, I forgot about Little Wish. Did that block? Okay, no, I didn't make that much of a mistake. The problem is, this won't instantly kill, right? Okay, no, but it does most of their health. That's fine. Let's actually soliloquy here. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and strike, and they're done. So a very easy, a potentially very difficult fight just turned into a glorified farming opportunity for Pollux, as usual. Okay, this is, Catalyst is always a good Orison. Then we can sell. Oh, I do love Gnosis Device, although, man, there is a lot of clog in the deck. But it's good draw power, so we can't say no. I'll just buy that purely because it's cheap. No other reason. Tiny Cradle, not really worth it in my opinion on this. Heavy Log is an okay relic for Pollux with a good price. Then we've got the last fight. I'll save the card. Oh no, we do have a last fight, right? Yeah. Nearly had a heart attack there. Then we can look for good relics. It's so nice to sit here with some candles. Okay, these will go down very, 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 very easily. So I ought to be wary of that. Mostly because I'm fighting them last in line, pretty much. Yeah, if we do that, that's, yeah, they're gonna get pierced through pretty fast. So we can just Sacred twice. I'll probably just bash through them as long as I have sufficient enough. Well, actually, let's leave the last one alive to prepare. Yeah, can just do that. That's cool. We will tab, we will annihilate. Cool, I can do that. Save Nightbreaker. This. Okay, cool. Let's just wait. Nightbreaker Cleansing Judgment should already kill them, to be honest, so... Yeah, sorry, Divine Revelation. Nightbreaker is the Exalt. Cool. Nightbreaker is the Overexalt passive effect, and Divine Revelation is the doubled effect. So yeah, just cleanse. Completely dead. I'm very beautifully prepared for the boss fight. Oh, double decomp. Sure. I'll take a double D comp. Because I should be fine on money. Yeah, 140 is sufficient. Just means I have to give up on Serpent Husk, but I don't think that's that big a deal for this character. Principles of Aesthetics is good damage. Silent Prelude. I mean, that's fantastic, really. We can get Silent Prelude and a Mirror Orison on Cleansing Judgment, which is pretty much an ideal outcome, in my opinion. Silent Prelude just means you can tank Lily Boss easily, since you have a guaranteed source of defense, as well as everything else, which is very nice. Cool. We can get the Mirror on Cleansing, which is a good boost to damage output. Now, I don't like Dream of Medication on Pollux, but it's nice for consistency and burst damage to get mirrors when you can. In Arc 1, of course. Sadly, in Arc 2, you can pretty much kiss them goodbye. Although you can use Dream of Medication Arc 2 for arena fights specifically, I wouldn't so much recommend them on other content, of course. Okay, so let's see what we open. This is a good hand. Overall, a good hand. It would be nice to have a Pollux card to duplicate though, but should be okay. Let me actually... Okay, well, I like Path of Ablution. I will... Oh yeah, of course I can dupe the Defend, but that's not very helpful here specifically. Yeah, let's just use Resplendent. I mean, it's fine. I can mostly use this for accruing scene. I just mostly hoped for... Mostly for Soul Searing Light was what I was most hoping for. Since that is none, I will probably just get Sacred. Blood Instinct, that is probably our best play. Since that's fleeting, I will use it, right? I mean, we don't have to, but I will. Okay, then we're going to just, again, simple plays. Oh, right. Sorry, let me use this. We want to get our Aliemus back, of course. Then we can Festival. Okay, slightly messed up, but it's okay, because we are then going to Sacred. And then use this, which should immediately draw back into it. No, the next one will. This will. So then we've got that set up nicely for next turn. I will use Sacred again. Probably go into... There's no reason not to go into Ultra Turn, particularly since I have Pollux's Rouse up, which is the main thing where I go, I would like the Rouse, ideally. Gateway. Oh, gateway. I forgot to use Aegis as alt. That's a bit silly of me. I'll actually go for Gateway of Retrospection, sorry. With this Soul Searing Light. And my main logic on that is I will use this and then this. And then this sets me up very strongly for my Ultra Turn, like so. Then I can... This is like totally fine, right? Yeah, this is good. Go into Extra Turn, right? Yeah, the only thing I'm a bit annoyed about is my lack of Vulnerable, but I'll just use Sacred Blood Instinct to get Vulnerable. Ultimately it's fine. And there's Small Wish here anyway, which, yeah, I'll just go ahead and use. Oh yeah, the Pollux. Well. Okay, this is a little bit disgusting, but yeah, if I use Seamless Verdict here. Then I can... Do I care? Do I even care? I think I do care, actually, yeah, about having Silent Prelude give me the correct card. So I'll do that, unfortunately with no vulnerable. Oh, the defender's just gone because it drew a card. Yeah, it drew a card. Silly me. Can't have them all, right? I'll use Prelude here. Prelude. Use Carol as well. Then I will... Okay, so Atonement, I have no Relic's Prosperity, yeah. Okay, Sea Festival will take effect twice too, because I do have... I always forget that effect, so let's not forget it this time, if possible. Not sure if it even is possible, but we'll see. So this will draw everything I need. Oh my god, that was glitchy. Well, that really caught me off guard, I can't lie. How many insights are in my deck? Okay, the insights... With Ty's ult, there doesn't seem to be an issue with the insights overlapping. It's just specifically with Pollux's exalt. So, which is something I didn't know until today. We can... So we have no... Yep. The Nightbreaker. Yep. So, Sacred... Decomp. This is going to be amazing scene generation as well. Cleansing. Then we can, once again... we haven't used Gnosis enough all of the times this turn, I believe. So, if we use this, will it draw back? No, okay. Well, that's fine. Totally fine. We'll use this like so. This is not fleeting, actually, so I'll just hold on to it. Just go ahead and use that and pass. Oh, I should have healed already because I'm going to go over max. So she's going to go Tokolili. This turn I do quote-unquote need to block, but that's fine. I'm actually going to use this to get weaken on her. Then we can small wish again. Use this defend. Forget that we have this. Forget that we have that relic. On the spot. Okay, now we can... How many insights are in deck? None. That's perfect, ironically. Okay, then we can use I just defend. Then we can go ahead and Holler Exalt. Feed this directly to Pollux. Tie Zoe on Pollux's defend. And it's basically just a question of, yep, I mean, 1349 damage for Uvharsh and the like is an impossibly, you know, it's like, it's over. There's no way you can block that. But for this character, it's practically a joke, which is quite amusing, in my opinion. I mean, especially because then they're not considered to be a good character in a way. It is like a relative thing, of course, but even so, it's quite insane to me, to my mind. But I am a little Uvharsh playing peasant, you see. So we can defend. We can Sacred into defend again. I might as well... I will save this for later. Is there anything else I want to do? Well, technically... Wow, technically we're taking a little dram of damage. Unbelievable. I'll still save this because there's no reason not to. And yeah, it's just... Oh, I do have to be a little careful of the timer, but as long as I'm generating plenty of sin, I'm not too worried. Like, this boss is very beefy, but I'm still pretty confident in killing her within 8 turns, to be honest with you. With that being said, I will go ahead and do that. Let's use Sinless Verdict. I would like, however, to get... I will probably... So, if possible... Okay, I'll use this strike because it's fine. That gives me most of my Aliemus back. I do... Let me just quickly use that. And then draw a card because I forgot. Small Wish, is it in the discard pile? No, okay. In that case, I can just defend. Now we're going to go for cleansing because we have plenty of scene. I want to start dealing significant damage. Since this is a bursty turn, I'm going to use Eye of Eternity as well. Sacred. Sacred. We just keep drawing it, which is beautiful. Now we decomp. There is another sacred. Okay, that's fantastic. Oh, it's also a gold one. Well, that's fine, honestly. That's suffering from success, as they say, right? Oh, I can also, yeah, let me use this on Solcia. Because that will draw the other cleansing light, which is fantastic. So then we can use 3 of them, basically. So we can do that. Now we're doing significant damage. There's not really that much useful to draw. No, not particularly. We can Sacred again. Cleansing. Do I just save decomp? This will actually, yeah, it goes up to 5, which is nice. Use that because I don't really want to deal with it. Cleansing once again. Ideally, let's try to get her under the threshold. Not sure how possible that will be. Okay, it's not looking very possible, which is a little unfortunate because I'd love to have her start bleeding on this turn, but this is not going to cut it because I need it to do about 7. I need to do about 70k more legitimate damage, which looking at the draw pile is just not possible, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just not possible. Not a problem. Let's just, well, it could be if we'd have to get like the Culinary Dominion posse off of the random posse effect, which is just, I mean, that's very unlikely, isn't it, when you think about it? With that being said, the situation we're in is pretty much fine now. We can just use a couple allergies. I will go ahead and Pollux OE. Oh, there is this idiot in front. I actually did not really think of that. But that's fine. Just need to make sure to use different cost cards every time. Otherwise we'll have a bit of a problem. Possibly should have gone into Snarl. I'm not gonna lie, but it should be okay. I mean, we have such a strong setup that I don't think the damage will be too much of an issue. Cleansing. Yep, it's looking pretty good to me. Decomp. Sacred. Sacred. Fail to draw it. Okay, that's fine. Now we draw it. Sacred into cleanse. And that's our original cleansing judgment, of course. Then we can and should... I do want to kill her directly this turn, to be honest. So, yeah, I will be using this. Then, We've been waiting for this. We're going to use Coition. Oops, I should have used the Posse first because I'm going to way overflow my Aliemus. But it's okay. Wolf Tidefast. We can go ahead and set up the OE. Or somewhat okay. I might have been a little bold there, actually. Sealed Orb Memories. I mean, that's fine. Let's just, let's go ahead and use all of her on her. Cool. I just Exalt is perfect. It means that she is completely stunned for just the next few turns once again. I'll use this to set up, just set up Exalts, Decomp Strike, Mind Wish. This is fine. Get the Annihilate, okay, and pass. Beautiful. Okay, now we can and should Small Wish. Oh, I should have, well, no, it's fine, actually. Let's use this Embryo, get rid of this lousy curse. Sinless Verdict. I should have gone into Snarl Stance. That is a mistake. A significant mistake because the burst damage of the Anger Stance is really, really, really big. So that is a very significant mistake. But it's probably going to be fine, to be honest with you. It's probably going to be fine. Like, we're not too badly under pressure here. Just use one of these, clearing space. Scion, we'll get cleansing. I mean, we have such an abundant amount of scene that we should be fine in terms of space. Cleansing. Then we can Sacred. Might as well use, should I use Horror's Exalt or just save? It's fine. Use this. This will draw automatically. Good. And then we can Sea Festival. They're both gold, as you would hope. Let's actually use Solcia here. Perfect. And we can Sacred into Cleansing once again. And we should, let me think. This is fine, really. Yep, we're just Sacred into Cleansing and end turn, I think. I will use Pollux's Strike. That is perfectly fine by me. End turn. 544k, even being in the wrong stance, is pretty nice in my opinion. And I don't think she probably won't have another turn to live, if I'm being honest with you. Because now we can Snarl. That does draw a card, of course. Silly me. Well, it's fine, but... we can Carol. We can and should Carol. Once again, we just don't want to draw cards off Gnosis early. And we can use the Embryo and Ties. Check Sacred. Sacred is Small Wish, sorry, is not in draw pile as I expected. Oh, she is gonna absolutely obliterate me. I kind of forgot that using a strike actually makes her attack twice, because how often do you open with a strike, truthfully? So that is, don't do that, ideally, but it should be quite alright. Technically, I could block at least one of these, but, you know, don't do what I do, but, it's ultimately fairly fine. We might actually... It just gives us a fun minigame. Oops, I had another Nightbreaker, and I messed it up. Oops, that's fine. It's just a small mistake. Decomp. Let's see. Oh, she's just gonna Eternal Flower. I am so incompetent. I'm quite literally forgetting every single mechanic of this boss, which is impressive in a way. Let's Festival of Tides. We're just basically looking for more damage cards, if I'm honest, which we kind of have. Decomp again. Okay, we have both of our cleansing. No, there's one more. So Insight. I'm just gonna fish. Okay, Solcia is very good. Yep. Solcia should immediately draw it. Perfect. Then we can Sacred, Cleanse, Sacred, Cleanse. I don't think we've really got that much more damage to deal, but I'll beat her up a bit more. She's already dead, of course, but, you know, why not torment them? That's what Pollux does, you know? Pollux, they're a rough one, you know? Don't mess with them, of course. Oh, that would have been nice, like, a little bit ago. But, you know, you can't always have what you want. Oh, silly me. Not using the Cleansing Judgment. Oh, no. Oh, the damage. What a fool. How foolish. Oh, that's fine. I can just Insight. This will give me the insight and then I can play it, of course. Okay, cool. Cleansing. And just for a little more damage, so we can go, wow, look at the highlight reel. Very easy boss. I pretty much yapped for everything I went through, but I hope for anyone who does watch this that it kind of teaches you the rhythm of playing Pollux, because I do think whether you use Pure Ultra or Car Ultra, I think once you get used to Pollux a bit, honestly, you don't need... I know I have fancy over exalts on characters, but Hola's OE is very useful. Don't get me wrong. Tai's OE is pretty much surplus to requirements, frankly. But in both of the cases, it's certainly not required, especially if you're not going for a 72k. Like, if you're just going for, quote-unquote, only going for a score, like 45,000, 48,601, I believe the next bracket is. You know, so you have, the enemies have about half the HP of this. You do not need these fancy characters. Just the Aegis Tai's Hola core, or alternatively the Hola Tai's Winkle core, but I consider that to be a little bit higher investment, is extremely versatile and powerful for just clearing deep dives very easily and consistently. And even quickly. If you're on a lower amount of difficulty, it's very quick. Now, of course, I wasn't so quick because I was narrating everything and playing 72k, which just naturally takes longer when you're playing Pollux and you're playing 30 cards a turn. And it's not even spamming. You have to play the 30 cards in a somewhat correct order. But yeah, thanks as always for watching, and when this gets to you, yeah, blessings upon you, and have a nice start of the harvest. If you have any specific questions about Pollux, just go ahead and leave a comment. Now, in terms of, I want to be clear again that I'm mostly providing this kind of video as an informative video of how to clear dives with a borrowed whale Pollux. Now, you can mostly do the same thing, just on a lower difficulty with your own OE Pollux. But in terms of investing for your own Pollux, I will say that in my opinion, E3 Pollux is not that amazing of a character, of a damage dealer. Perhaps too much of their power, especially in Arc 1, has been put into their Overexalt, which just makes them do incredible amounts of combo damage and base damage for clearing for encounters. It also basically refunds itself, because you just use the doubled card in mob fights to play a strike or a defend, which gives you like about 75 Aliemus or so, with the doubled atonement effect. The early aim is from the atonement, I should say. So that's about my opinions on the subject. I love the character, but not a very good, certainly not a good E0, E1, E2 character, and not that great of an E3 character, which as of late they have been quite stingy with a lot of characters, especially damage dealers, in terms of an overexalt that I would say is, well, not technically mandatory for most content, or even all content. Like, technically they can be carried through hard mode Arc 2 story, I should say, without it. Jean made a video on it, but it's not the kit is not really complete without the overexalt, is my view on the character, basically. For better or for worse. Okay, yep. Now take care for real. Bye.